Okay, here we're going to make some butternut squash soup. So what I chopped up with a sweet onion, a large sweet onion, a large carrot, and it doesn't have to be pretty chunks because we're going to use the boat rotor stick blender to make this a smooth soup when we're done. One butternut squash. I think this one weighs maybe 2 pounds, 1.5 to 2 pounds. You can see I seeded and quartered it, and I'm going to cut it in large chunks. And then we have some quarter chicken broth, some half and half. You can use cream, milk. You can also use plain yogurt. And then we'll garnish it with a little bit of nutmeg. Okay, so we cut the butternut squash into like fourths, and now I'm going to cut it into big chunks. And again, it doesn't have to be real pretty. Okay, so there you go. Chunked up. Now we're going to go across the kitchen and we're going to start to cook. Okay, into the pot on medium-high heat with about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil or canola oil. Any nice oil is fine. Olive oil is good too. It adds a little bit of flavor and healthful fats. So this is the onion and the carrot, and we're going to saute them till soft with a little bit of salt and pepper. Saute until they're soft. 5 minutes. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes and the vegetables are getting soft. You just stir them a few times and you can see there's a little bit. I was kind of generous with the oil, and of course you're getting some of the sweat from the vegetables. So there's vegetable juices mixed in with the oil, and the oil really adds a nice texture to the soup and a flavor. And again, I'm using olive oil, so I am adding in a beneficial fat. The least harmful fats are in olive oil. Alright, so now we've added in all of the squash, and we're going to go ahead and stir this around. As you can see, I'm cooking on a ceramic top oven, or stove top, and it actually works pretty well. I am using a stainless steel pot with a tri-ply bottom, so I'm going to just stir the squash around and kind of let them just cook just, I don't know, like 3 to 5 minutes before we add the stock. And we'll adjust the seasonings a little later. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes, and we've gotten the squash just sauteed and coated up with the nice seasoned oil. And we're going to pour in the chicken stock. You can use chicken stock, you can use vegetable stock. You could even use just plain water and a little bouillon. You don't have to add the bouillon. Bouillon's not something that I would use. I typically make all my stocks homemade, but not today because I'm visiting at my daughter's house. So I'm going to pour in the whole quart of chicken stock. And today we're using a Rayleigh's chicken broth. So there we go. So we're going to bring this to the boil, and then we'll turn it down, put the top on, and let it simmer for 10 to 15 minutes, however long it takes to get the squash and the carrots tender. Okay, we have a nice little bubble going. So now we are going to, unintentional zooming, excuse me. Okay, now we're back out to regular zoom. Now we're going to put the top on, and we're going to set a timer for, let's check it in 10 minutes. And we're going to turn the heat down to about 3 on this stove. Okay, so I'm doing a fork test, and I can tell from the way that the carrots feel and the way that the squash feels that it needs just a little bit more time to cook after the 10 minutes. So what we can do to save energy, and this works quite well particularly on electric or ceramic type cooktops, is we can go ahead and just turn the burner off and just leave the top on it and set the timer for about 5 more minutes, even up to 10 minutes, and it'll continue to cook, and it'll cool just slightly before we get the stick blender out to mix the soup. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes more, and we're going to do the fork test, and nice and tender. So this is going to boatload her up nicely. Yeah, everything is nice and tender. You can see, I don't know if you can see it, but the chicken stock has gotten a little thicker just from a little bit of the fiber and the small amount of starch in the squash. So we'll get the boatloader out and be right back. Okay, so we have here a stick blender with this blade in it, which is good for blending up soups. This is a Braun 200 watt. This is a really good unit, and I'm going to show you how to use this to smooth out your soup. All right, now I've taken the pot over to the right hand side of the stove, where the plug-in for the stick blender, which I call a boat rudder, is off to the right because... Yes, you go ahead and enjoy those grapes. Excuse me, having a conversation with my granddaughter. Because I'm right-handed, I will make sure that the cord goes off to the right, because you don't want to have it trailing across your stove, even though the burners are off, just for safety. Now, when you use a stick blender, you want to go down straight and kind of pulse it. Do not tip it. If you do like this, you will send a rooster tail that will go for 20 to 30 feet. It's pretty amazing. Now see how the carrots really give a very nice color to the soup. Once the big chunks are incorporated, then you can just continue to run it. And stir it. Yep, that's pretty smooth. All right. Now we're going to add in, normally I would have a dish sitting there to put it on. Forgot to put it out today. So now we're going to go ahead and add in some cream.